Aloha, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for December 19th of 2024. New Year's, new spring, new plantings right around the corner. I can feel spring almost in the air. That's where I'm at when I hit January 1st. I'm ready for it. Guys, we got a great lineup for you today, but the trees we're going to talk about in the video are just 10 of the 20. There's a secret 20 in the email. Go check that out for the other 10 trees.
Guys, starting off today, we've got Abies Coreana Icebreaker, and these are grafted onto Abies Firma. These are grafted to the Mumi fir. Y'all, a nice set of these. This is going to be the most heat-tolerant icebreakers you can get grafted onto Abies Firma.
Icebreaker on Firma, you guys know the deal. Everybody's looking for them on Firma. We got them here in our Welsh pots. They're small Welsh pots, but they're nice size, well-developed plant, good root system on Abies Firma, making them more heat-tolerant here for the South. You've been asking for it. We've been doing it. Icebreakers Day on Abies Firma, absolutely great plants. You know this one, incredible color patterns to it. That white kind of creamy color, some of the best variegated conifers you'll find. Great for the container or the ground. On Firma though, speaks for itself. That's what you guys been begging for. Bringing it out here today.
Yeah, this just has this tight, dense, compact form with the Icebreaker. It gives you that silver color out there in the landscape. Sometimes known as Cohoot's Icebreaker. This was found as a witch's broom on Abies Silberlock, sometimes Hortsman Silberlock. And it's just a dense dwarf mutation that has that same color everyone loves with Silberlock, but in a compact form. By having these grafted onto Abies Firma, they're going to survive and do better in the deep south, in those hotter regions, than ones grafted onto Abies Coreana, which is the typical rootstock for Abies Coreana.
Grab you one today. These won't last long. Ones on Firma tend to sell out pretty quick. All right, guys, next up, we've got a classic dwarf Japanese maple. We've got Hesojo. Now, this is an Acer palmatum. Going to work zones 5 through 9. This is a dwarf red that gives you some incredible colors. It's almost like a miniature version of like Fireglow.
And it stays really compact in its nature. It gets a lot of interior growth as it ages, making a nice round ball out there in the landscape. One of the unique things about Hesojo is it has been one that can hold that deep maroon color in a more shaded situation. It can handle that sun and hold its color in the sun as well, but it's unique in the fact that it holds its color red in a more shaded situation where many of the reds lose their color. Easy dwarf to use, great for containers, great for small places in the garden. That red color just adds a lot.
Typically 4x4 in a 10-year period. You can stake this one up to play with the height a good bit if you want it taller, but it is the best red form that's going to give you that kind of Yetsubusa style density to it. I think this would be a great plant for bonsai if you haven't done one. Small foliage, great colors, really an overall great plant. If you tend to stake it up, it tends to look like a small leaf upright, which changes the nature of it a good bit. Without doing that, it's going to spread out and get a little bit wider and more multi-stem. Hesojo, though, classic for the container garden. One of the best reds, I think for a dwarf red, hard to beat it.
Next up, y'all, we've got Acer palmatum Germaine's gyration. We've often termed this the Mack truck of Japanese maples with its twisting, contorting habit, also known as contorta.
Yeah, this one gets out there quickly, guys. This is a 10x10 in 10 years, so make sure you have space for this one. If you have room for this one, this is one that's going to give you that giant 100-year-old tree look just in a short amount of time. Exceptionally heat tolerant, exceptionally durable. Germaine's is fast growing. It can handle high heat suns even in somewhere like Columbia, South Carolina. Larger leaf. The green tree is going to turn to a golden yellow in the fall. Had some bold oranges in it as well. This one is the fastest growing green lace leaf though, so make sure you got a spot for it. You can put it in a container when it's younger. But guys, this one in the landscape makes one of the most majestic, larger trees. It really is going to give you that older tree appeal, in a short amount of time. 10x10 in 10 years. Most lace leaves are going to be 50, 70 years old before they're kind of reaching the size of this one, even in a 10-year span, making it extra special. You got to make sure you got room for it. I don't want to put this one, over a sidewalk. It's going to get big. But man, when it puts on its characteristics, I don't think anything can beat Germaine's gyration.
That's for sure. And Germaine's gyration can really just give you this really nice structure in the landscape. Not only does it get big quickly, but it gives this twisting, contorted structure that gives something very unique. Even in those winter months when it drops its leaves, you're going to really appreciate the size, the structure, the contorting habit that Germaine's gyration can provide in the garden.
Let's bring back a MrMaple classic, guys. This is one of the ones from the Area 51 that sells out pretty quickly. Can you guess it? Have you guessed on our label? If you don't know, we put the pictures for the thumbnail in the MrMaple Friends group, and there's a fun time guessing what each tree is. We have a lot of fun making those, and I think there's a lot of fun time participating in that. I've even had people overseas tell me how much they like that. Guys, today we're bringing back Japanese lanterns.
Japanese lanterns is a unique selection that has this branches that sort of go out and it semi-cascades a little bit, but the leaves cup downward like a traditional Japanese or Chinese lantern, and it cups downward in a unique fashion that gives a unique texture in the garden.
Yeah, the leaves kind of emerge a little less curled. As the summer goes along, they get more of that lantern type shape to them. They look like little lanterns. It's so cool, especially as they hit fall color. They're going to be green in the spring and summer, real bright chartreuse. And then the fall colors can be bold reds to oranges to even light pink reds. Really a showy plant. And I love how you mentioned it, but I love how the branches kind of arch out. It kind of gives it that hanging of lanterns effect. You kind of get those kind of branches that kind of are spindly and they kind of go in all directions, but it really gives a place for those lanterns. It looks like somewhere you would hang a lantern. I love these for their texture. I love them for their foliage. There's nothing quite like Japanese lanterns. When we saw this, we're like, wow, this is amazing. It was a chance seedling, and it's turned into a really popular tree.
Guys, next up we've got Easter Palmatum Hesojo. We've got them in these XL sizes, and we have them in regular sizes as well. I wanted to show you these sizes on these XLs because these are ginormous.
Ginormous, guys. This one's kind of fun because it's a vigorous dwarf. It gets out there quickly, but then it slows down. Typically a 5x5 ball in a 10-year period. Some of the smallest foliage you'll find on a Japanese maple. This one is similar to Kiyohime in its design because you get a purple leaf in the early spring. It goes to a green, red in the fall. The leaves are even much smaller than the Kiyohime styles, though, and the shape is much different. With most of those Kiyohime or like Kapershi dwarf types, they're going to make a low toadstool shape. This one's going to be more of a rounded globe shape. You'll find when you get this one on the ground, a lot of growth will come from the interior, so it'll densen up a lot, making it great for bonsai as well because you're getting something a little bit more upright with tiny foliage.
Now this makes a great pairing with Hesojo that has a similar structure but different colors. The Hesojo we mentioned earlier goes with those maroons. This one has that purple border with the green leaf, and I love what Hesojo can do. The new growth can, on the summer, can actually be even tinier than the growth that's there in the early spring. You know, the early spring can be about the size of my thumbnail. When you start talking about the new growth during the summer, it can be even tinier, which is really impressive. Gives something a unique texture in the landscape and garden. And this is often one of their favorite dwarfs that they love in the garden because when you grow this tree, you fall more in love with it because it's easy to grow, tight, dense, compact habit, and it's vigorous. It gets out there very quickly and fills out that space.
All right, guys, next up we've got Acer Palmatum Heartbeat.
Heartbeat is a newer selection of a red lace leaf from New Zealand, and I'm telling you, it's one of the better red lace leaves. It's got that more picked up red color and a nice cascading habit.
Yeah, this one is beautiful. You definitely get more of that kind of fire glow-esque red as well, where you kind of get that translucent color going through it. Great pink red to even bold red fall colors. Heartbeat is a showstopper in every single season. Typically about 4 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, low cascading umbrella. I switched that. 3 to 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, lower, one of the smaller habits to it. A little bit wider than it is tall. Really a great one for the container garden. I think you're going to love Heartbeat.
And it also has a really nice bright red fall color as well. So it keeps giving you some really more picked up red colors in the landscape and garden. And I think its name, and because it's much more of a picked up red than that deep maroon, really makes this tree extremely popular.
All right, y'all, we recently did a top 75 trees of 2024. You'll have to tune in to see where Catalina Atusa listed on that list, guys. Spoiler alert, it was the third most popular of all Makawa forms. We sell a lot of these. There were several hundred of these sold in 2024, making it by far one of our most popular forms out there. We're bringing back Catalina Atusa.
I know it's been off the website for a minute. It's one we've tried to keep on the website quite a bit on MrMaple.com because it is so popular. It is a variegated Makawa Atusa. Everyone loves Makawa Atusa for its tightly layering form, and this one has that tightly layering form, but almost like a Dr. Seuss leaf on top of that. It's got a really nice, typical, almost Makawa, a little more upright structure to it, which distinguishes it from something like lily pad. And to me, next level, variegated Makawa.
A lot of it's upright and arching. Love that variegated style. Great plant for the container garden. It's actually been very heat tolerant. So a lot of people have been growing this one in a little bit more sun. We've been finding that's doing excellent even in the south. Give it a little bit of late day shade if you're in zone 9, obviously. But zone 8, this one's been really performing well and showing out. Great fall colors on this one as well. Everything you love about Makawa with some splashes of pink where that white is. Really a showstopper. I think you're going to love Catalina Atusa. If you hadn't grown it yet, it is an absolute star in the garden. Head faked you a few weeks ago. We accidentally put these in the video, but they weren't on the 10 at 10. So we're bringing back the 2-gallon Manos Satos. Shout out to Augustin. He let me know. We rarely miss a tree on the 10 at 10. We talked about it last week, so go watch that video a couple weeks ago. But the 2 gallon Manos Satos, they're back.
Yeah, we're only human, so we do make some mistakes. But Manos Sato is an amazing variegated Japanese maple, good upright form. I did a full cultivar breakdown of this in fall color at Buckholtz Nursery. Go check that out. You can see that bright orange color and the shape that these mature out to, because they start going upwards and then they start filling in, making a beautiful shrub-like shape in the garden. It's amazing, and it's one of those trees where every leaf looks completely different. You're going to enjoy this one.
I already talked about it. Go watch that video. It's awesome. All right, guys, next up we got one of my favorite variegated conifers. This one makes a splash in the garden. Heusen Smith. Everybody loves this one. That neon yellow on dark evergreen color is one of the more dynamic contrasts. We actually use them as a border here, a lot at MrMaple, kind of screening plants. You can use them that way, but man, they've got all the drama if you put this one out there on your own. I love putting things like wave leaf or even celebration near this, because the color contrast in the spring it's just incredible.
I mean, for a thuya that's variegated, Heusen Smith provides some of the best yellow variegation on any of the thuyas, and one of the best yellow variegations on any conifer I've seen. You know I love the color yellow. When you get that yellow mixed in the foliage with that dark green, it gives a great color contrast. It's a tree that's going to rock it out. Gives you a lot of awesome showiness, just that flash in the garden. Y'all, you're going to love thuya Heusen Smith.
All right, y'all, you asked for it. It's back. We did a video on this at Buckholtz. Some of our most underrated, some of our most colorful. Guys, this one, we're bringing some big sizes in black lace.
Black lace is a Matsumuri with a good upright form. It's strong, it's vigorous. It has that dark red, black color out there that just gives such a unique shade of just black out there in the landscape.
You'll see why this one's quickly entering a lot of people's top 5s when we ask the color of the bark. It's almost got a chocolatey appearance to the bark. The color is next level in the garden because it's so dark. Obviously, pairing this with lighter colored trees is going to really show them out. Things like Alarian or things like Summer Gold are really going to peak up against this darker bark and this darker color. A nice plant. A lot of people are really using this to bring, you know, that eye into the garden. That deeper shade of maroon to almost black can really add and really make everything else kind of pop.
Now, what I would actually like to do to put this out there and give some good color contrast, plant a Golden Falls out here. You got the contrast in the shape, and plant a dwarf blue conifer near it as well. One of those dwarf Colorado blue spruces. What you're going to end up having is blue, yellow, black. Completely different shapes. Golden Falls is going to have that nice cascading shape. The dwarf blue Colorado blue spruce is going to be that more that rounded shape. This having that upright structure. It's going to play off each other and create an instant just talking point in your landscape. Contrast the name of the game. And this gives you that black color you can't get out of many trees. Instant gratification sizes, y'all. If you haven't already and you have a gardener in your family, think about grabbing them a MrMaple gift card. It's a great way to get an instant gift right to your email. Our gift cards show up immediately right away, so you can forward that on or print it off and give it to your favorite gardener. We appreciate you supporting gardening, especially year-round. You guys keep us busy 12 months out of the year here at MrMaple. We greatly appreciate it. Take care. God bless.
And have a great day.